Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
How's it going, guys?
Good afternoon.
What's new?
Not much.
China Pro, maybe?
The Army added TRT.
Oh, yeah. Did anybody see the little bit of the China Pro last night? I was up late and caught a little bit of. It's quite the show with the production. I don't know if any of you caught it.
Yeah, James Hollingshead looked great. I don't know how he didn't win, but
I'm struggling to catch up. It's been a rough weekend. So
I didn't see who won the. Was it Baruz that ended up winning?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of the some of the photos I saw of him a couple days before. He looked like he had a little water, but he must have cleaned it up pretty good. I haven't seen any photos yet.
He still looked a little watery on stage.
Yeah,
I mean, it was close, but I mean, that was the best I've seen James look.
Yeah,
but you know how it is with pitchers, man. Sometimes it's hard to tell from pitchers.
Yeah. Well, Baru's got such a beautiful, shape. I really like him. I think he's got a very complete look. When he's on, he's as dangerous as anybody.
Let's see if I can find the videos. But James looked great.
Yeah, James definitely looked big and full and hard. That was nice to see. He's had some rough preps, it seems like, recently, the past year or two. Finally put it all together.
Coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always tough. You got to give. I'm always in the camp of you have to give people. You got to give coaches at least a good year or so. Like you got to have an off season. You got to have time to the people that come to you and they're 14 weeks out from a show they want to circle on the calendar. It's tough. You're gonna have a lot of work ahead of you to really learn people and start getting the body moving very quick in a short period of time.
Man, I would say 90% of the time somebody comes to me mid prep, I just tell them no.
Yeah.
Because chances are they're probably going to fire me after the show's over too, because they're unhappy with their current coach. It's their current coach's fault that they didn't do
X, Y, or Z.
I've had a few situations where it's been legit. I had a couple people come to me this year and I kind of disagreed with what the current coach was doing, and I understand why they left. Sometimes it's just a personality thing, but man, I just like that always makes me like, hey, I'm 6 weeks out. Can you help finish my prep? And I'm like, I don't know about that, but I'm with you, Dave. I want a whole off season. I mean, if somebody comes to me at the beginning of prep, that's fine. But I'd say at least 16, 20 weeks. I'd like.
Yeah, and it seems to usually be a coach hopping red flag when somebody comes in halfway through a phase like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hoppers, that's for sure.
It's like changing the driver in the middle, like a long NASCAR race or something. It's like, wait, what are you? We're in the middle of it.
And I think a lot of people forget too. Like, I'm starting to come into the camp of believing, 16 weeks is still a short period of time. If you really want to, you got to anticipate so many things that could go wrong. 16 weeks is perfect. Like if you can not get sick, you can not have any hiccups, and this person a little bit like the back of your hand. 16 weeks can be manageable, but that's still a short period of time to get in shape for a show.
Hell, even developing a good communication practice between you and your client takes time to understand what motivates them, what are they holding back from telling you for whatever reason, that kind of stuff. That synergy. That makes
and a lot of times those first few weeks are just establishing the coaching process with the person. So it's almost like that's almost like wasted time if that's like you're already in prep.
Yeah. It takes me a good month to just even figure out their metabolism.
Yeah.
I was just going to say I'm super careful when I start with somebody. I don't want to give them the wrong thing and do the wrong thing. It takes a good 4 or 6 weeks to even figure out what their body's doing.
Yeah.
It's just adding so many variables, by changing the coach. It's just so many variables get shifted. Oof.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do too, because you're in a position too where you got to see what was working for them, even though it might not be the way that you like to run your setup with your clients. But if somebody's on a scenario, like I did have a person come to me 12 weeks out, and if it wasn't that I could tell they were a serious athlete, I wouldn't have took it on, and they were well referred. But they were kind of more into this like keto diet that was working well for them. I say keto, but it's really just a low carb, balanced protein and fat, and that's not really always my approach with diet for 9 out of 10 people. But we kind of worked with it, and we were able to make it happen, and it worked out well, and we peaked her well, and so sometimes that's also a scenario. I got to beat to someone else's drum for a little bit, and just to make it manageable to step them on stage. And that can be scary too, because you're taking a chance as a coach. You're going against what you're not used to, and it is what it is. But yeah, some people you got to give a little more time. 16 weeks is quick. I try to give people at least a couple of weeks of like I guess you call it like a health or a cleanup phase, or kind of like a refresh phase, whatever you really want to call it. I think Amy was about to say too, you've had some long preps where that's really what works well for you as well.
Well, I've had long and short preps, which is really interesting. Like I've done like an 8-week prep, mostly because I decided to jump into a show early. Like it was, I was planning on doing a show like 2 months later, but there was a show coming up and a friend of mine was doing it. So I jumped into a show in August when I wasn't planning to compete until October. And that was awesome. But then I've also done like a 30-week prep. And right now, I kind of feel like my prep right now feels way too short, just because I'm, in my head about it. But it's every prep is different. And I think that's smart to work with the same coach, for multiple preps, because they kind of get to know those patterns too. Like my coach isn't panicked about things, which is great. I'm panicked about it, but he's like, the same thing happened last year. I'm like, yeah, I guess it did. So we'll see.
How many weeks out are you?
11 weeks and 5 days, probably 11 weeks and 5 days. Yes.
All right, let's go.
So where's your show, Amy? In Colorado again, or?
Yeah, it's in Colorado, and it's a show I've done a couple of times before. And then I do have a backup show that's in November if I needed it. And then of course there is actually another like final show of the season in December if I really need it. So, there are other options, but I really want to do the October show just because it's one of my favorites. It's a cool venue and it's always fun.
I love that strategy of having shows available that you plan out like what's around, so that you can always leverage your best package, I guess. That's smart. Super smart.
Yeah. I like to do more than once in a year because, prepping it's such a journey, and I like to have like more than one show because I do kind of feel like, you kind of get the rust off the first show and then have another one to, feel a little more relaxed at.
To me, the prep length is directly correlated to how fat you got in the off season.
That too. And I did get a little too fat this off season.
Yeah.
I've never seen you what I would define as fat.
Yeah. Never. Yeah. Actually, I take that back. I watched an old podcast one time of
I was fat.
when she was actually kind of chunky. So
really,
I get where she's coming from in the mental headspace, being an ex-fat kid myself. Like once you've been there, you're like terrified to go back,
100%.
Not me. It sounds awesome.
No.
I was legit fat at the start of whatever this thing is I'm doing, prep, diet, whatever. I think this is the first week where I looked in the mirror in the posing room and I'm like, oh, I'm starting to look like a bodybuilder again after 10 weeks of dieting.
Was that before or after you shaved your chest?
I've been shaved for a while.
Oh, okay.
Shaved down a month or two
ago.
About
the weed whacker.
That's the worst when you get fat and you're unshaved. It just makes everything worse. Sometimes you got to shave just to make yourself feel a little better, Yeah.
What's the worst is when you're too fat. You're like, I'll let it grow in a bit so I don't see all the rolls.
Yeah.
Camouflage. No.
Fat for me is 15% body fat though. That's what the scale that's what the DEXA said at the beginning was 15 and some change.
Yeah. I will say this: once you get used to the bodybuild shaving aesthetic, if you will, I find it hard to not do it year round. Honestly, other than the wife complaining that I'm prickly every once in a while, that's the only thing.
I haven't shaved since my show, and I've loved every fucking day of it.
Of not shaving?
Sometimes you just need a break.
It takes a long time. It takes forever to shave your. I don't know. Maybe you guys are more hairless than I am, but
I have hair on the inside of my biceps. I have to shave a whole lot.
I literally, there's not a square inch of my body outside of the top of my head that doesn't have hair on it. Everything else has hair on it. Everything. My ears, my nose, my everything.
I started DHT blockers because I'm tired of this shaving.
Does it work?
I'm a girl, so
I'm happy.
I'm about to find out.
I'm a girl, so I shaved year-round anyway, but I definitely look forward to the break from exfoliating every day.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, the thing about DHTs, and this is just my experience with Masteron and Prima Bolin, is that your hair on the top of your head falls out, but then your hair gets thicker and
everywhere else
in weird places, man. I just don't know how that works.
I have a true story for you. I never had back hair until I took Tren.
Really?
Same here. I've got the same story, Paul. Yep.
Huh.
Never had my back. I remember, I don't know, when was that? How old? I'm trying to think what it was. 27, 28, the first time I took Tren. And I, like, in 8 weeks, had a hairy back.
Yeah.
And it didn't go away, right?
No. Oh, no. It's like a forest now.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
I've been growing spirals since I was 14 in my back, so I don't have any steroids that did this. Nope, just me.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's like once you get that back hair going, it just kind of sticks around. It doesn't stop once you come down. Because I'm on TRT right now, and it's still like a forest back there, man. I got red ones.
You're off the 2,000 milligrams of Tren.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
I gotta say, I've never thought about it before today.
1600.
I've never thought about it before today, but it is synonymous.
Is it? I mean,
yikes. That, Mike?
Oh, sorry, guys. I've never thought about it until you mentioned it, but that's when my back hair started getting really thick. Was like late 30s when I started training.
Yeah.
Look, there you go. Our audience agrees. They've experienced this clearly.
Oh, get a back blade. The expensive one for like $80 is the best one. Just get that one.
Yeah, so you can go.
It still doesn't work. I'm too bound. I've tried that, and my back looks like I got lashed. I just can't. Can't do it.
I can't reach it. I am too. My arm. I don't have that sort of shoulder mobility, and my lats are too big for me to get.
Big.
Doesn't matter, man. I can't get my arms back there.
I can't do it. I can't get the angle to get a nice smooth, and then I can't tell if I missed it. So it's like I got to get my wife to check.
Yeah, what's even worse than hair on your back is patchy hair on your back.
Yeah,
it's just all in one area.
That is the worst. This is why I asked my wife. I bribe my wife. I'll give you a dessert if you shave my back.
Right. Yeah, we're getting ice cream if you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, dessert is.
Any back hair issues?
Dessert can be whatever it needs to be, Mike.
It's funny is my wife and I, we go to the gym at the same time, and we have for 10 plus years. And we come home, we literally shower together. We're so regimented. We eat together, all of our routines very much. So if I need to shave, it's the fastest way is she just does it for me.
I got a funny back hair story for you.
What's that?
I got a funny back hair story for you. I was at a show earlier this year, and I saw a dude that was completely shaved down, but his back was super hairy.
So clearly no girlfriend, no wife, or helper.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, bro, you're I couldn't help myself, man. I was like, your back is hairy. You can pay the tanning girls they'll shave that down for you quick. And he's like, man, he goes, my girlfriend broke up with me. I don't know how anybody shaved my back.
Poor guy.
Oh man!
I'm like, there are
solutions. I got to wax my back, and man, I rage quit off of that real quick. I got a few pulls in, and I couldn't handle it. I don't know how you guys do that.
Have you ever tried a hair removal cream like Veet? Because that's pretty mild and it works pretty well. And you
Oh,
can
does
just
it?
that's a
Yeah.
lot, and it's a lot easier and quicker to have somebody just do that for you. They can just apply it and then you can just rinse it off afterwards.
I've tried a few and they're just not they don't work well enough. Maybe my hair's too coarse. I think some people it works probably
Yeah,
good.
they do say on the back of the bottle usually to make sure it's no longer than a quarter of an inch before you do it. Otherwise, it might not get it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I know, like for me, I've tried it a couple times and it works, but it's really irritating on the skin though. Like afterwards,
did you use Veet or Nair?
I don't remember. I've used both
because I've used Nair one time, like a really, really, really long time ago, and it was the reason I figured out I had eczema because it gave me the worst eczema breakout I've ever had in my whole entire life. But Veet doesn't react with me whatsoever, so I started using that for show weekends because it's so much faster than shaving your whole body.
Sure.
especially on the areas that get like ingrowns or get like razor burn. That treats it a lot better.
My body hair is so damn thick that none of those hair products even work on it. It won't even.
Yeah, you'd probably have to like fully shave it first and then get the last little bit with the.
Yeah, it won't fucking put a dent on any of it. No. Maybe my arms, but everything else.
I've tried both.
Like a Brillo pad.
Yeah, I've tried both. You're talking, Tanya, and it's Jackie even mentions because she's a licensed esthetician, so she understands skin and all that. She does all that hair removal stuff, and it's just some people are just too coarse. Like my hair is just far too thick in diameter.
You have to be
but it's
careful.
easy if you can get someone to shave it. It's the biggest panel is your back. It's wide open. Just go right through it. Done, quick and easy. I mean, that's the best advice I can give to anyone.
I've even bought those ones that are like specifically for men and supposed to be for coarse hair.
Right.
And they were a joke. I mean,
it's for pedestrian men.
Yes.
Not anabolic men.
Not manly men.
You got to make like a triple concentration one for us.
Can't cut that trend here.
I usually buy the men's products anyway because they're cheaper usually and more effective.
Those are for guys who do Anavar only cycles.
Oh man, I get so many dudes reach out to me about the Anavar only cycle things. I'm like, yeah.
What about Halo only, Paul? Come on.
Halo only. That's the way to go, evidently. It's non-liver toxic. You only need to run it for 4 weeks and you make massive gains, and you do that twice a year. And
you want to break up with your girl.
If you can survive every confrontation you get into because
20 milligrams of Halo Tessin for 4 weeks, 3 times a year, and next thing you know, Mr. Olympia contest is in your future.
All I'm thinking is like Halo testing and say like a really bad traffic jam just sounds like an awful time.
Halo makes me want to fight, but it also makes me think that if I fight, I'd die of a heart attack.
That actually is making me think I want some Halo because that sounds amazing.
The ultimate Pyrrhic victory. It's like I won.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You're gonna hit that deadlift and make it a deadlift.
Finish him.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking about the stuff that sounds super smart, like the Halo only cycles and shit like that. There is so much bullshit on social media, man. There's so many people that pretend like they know what the fuck they're talking about, and they toss a mean word salad. And so, like, I think it confuses people. Like, it's like the magician that's pulling all the different strings and tricking
American
people. And then
is very low.
And they're like, this guy's using big words. He's got to be smart. And then we got somebody like Sean who's truly smart. But then like the people that are truly smart are usually don't think they're smart. They're humble about it. It's the guys that are not smart that are overconfident in their ability.
Todd, did I send you the reel where he said he fixed someone's like tachycardia over 300, intermittent tachycardia over 300? With like potatoes.
Wow.
I'm gonna eat potatoes. I mean, forget the cardiologist. Just eat a russet. Idaho.
Eat a russet. Call me in the morning. Okay.
Like I optimized this guy's electrolytes, and his 300 heart rate went away. Like
by
overnight.
adding potassium, I don't.
Yeah, no, it's just insane. It's crazy. It's completely made up.
And people listen to these people.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you say it with confidence and you say it with big words, a lot of times that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like he does a pretty, like you said, a pretty mean word salad. It is kind of impressive. And then you listen to the words and you go, hey, what?
Does any of that really mean anything? Or does any of it really make any sense? But it's enough to confuse people that have, what did I read, that the average American has a sixth grade reading comprehension? I think it is roughly middle school. It's middle school level.
Which explains why that Bachmeyer guy's got like 1 million followers.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah. This week was interesting on social media, man. There was all kinds of stuff going on. There was the whole you don't need a caloric surplus to grow muscle debate that was going on. That was fun to watch from afar.
Who's debating that?
It was Lyle McDonald, and I had her on before, and Scientific Snitch. They were going at it hard, and then her boyfriend, and it got personal. I don't like the personal attacks on people. I don't know. I think that kind of crosses a line. Unless somebody's being a jerk to me, then I'll come back after him. But I think it's okay.
So Scientific Snitch was on was pro surplus.
No, you don't. She's been talking about this.
She does semantics where your surplus doesn't exist. It's just maintenance counts as part of your building of muscle. So no matter what the number comes, it's all maintenance anyway. So it's not a surplus.
Yeah.
And if you do an actual surplus, then you're gonna gain fat.
You're just gonna get fat.
It's
annoying. anything involving a fight with Lyle is going to involve personal insults and making it super emotional.
It got gnarly.
Yeah, Lyle he's so intelligent, but I mean the personal crusades get tiring.
I love his information, and sometimes I love his bitchiness.
Yeah, I enjoy grumpy genius, but it was getting crazy.
Well, a grumpy debate between the geniuses that's on point and not a character assassination is always interesting.
She tries to set it up. She always go ahead.
There's just this thing going on in the science-based lifting community. This has been the latest thing here recently, is that you don't need a surplus to grow muscle, which I guess, and we do see some people that are in caloric deficits and grow muscle, but it's usually fat people.
Yes, very fat.
Yep.
Or
the people that are arguing this are both naturals, though, correct?
Yeah, they're natties. This is a natty argument.
Yeah.
And Lyle will never do anybody.
And the caveat that isn't being said is, yes, you can, but is it the best? Probably not.
No.
Right.
Is it a sure thing? That's the question. Is it a sure thing that you're going to be growing muscle? And we want to make sure it's a sure thing, right? Like we want to just be in a little bit of a surplus every week.
Yeah.
So
again, it's a semantics thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an ice cream scoop a day.
Well, I think they forgot that there is caloric value, or that muscle tissue is stored energy. At the end of the day, I mean, there is a.
She did literally forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's basically the chicken breast has 0 calories in it. I don't know, maybe.
I
don't know.
One thing to point out is the people who have actually done science and are actually science-based are not involved in these weird emotional arguments on social media, and I think that should tell you something.
It's a good point.
But a lot of people follow these people and listen.
Like, how often do I get in fights about that? Not often, because science is very simple. It's very easy to define concepts. There's really no argument about it. It's not emotional.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is like you just get in a slight surplus, so there's no question that you have enough energy to build the muscle.
Right.
Because like, you know what I mean? Like if you're at maintenance and you spend, 8 months at maintenance trying to build muscle and, it doesn't really work, you've wasted a lot of time. So just eat a little
especially for naturals.
Especially for naturals. I mean, for us, you could probably get away from maintenance and grow quite a bit. But for a natural, it's not something, I wouldn't play that game. You got to really have everything lined up.
I played that game. I didn't get a lot from it.
Yeah.
You can't even quantify accurately what maintenance is anyway. Like your metabolism is so pliable and constantly changing, and a lot of times you'll throw more food at it, and you there's upregulation that happens, and when you cut food and the metabolism down regulates your, you could have a stressful day and burn more calories. It's like hard to predict. Like, so like in my, I err on the side of caution and do a little extra.
Yeah. And not to mention, like, as you put on more muscle, your maintenance
Metabolism
hard to
goes
define
up.
is going to go up ever so slightly over time. So just eat a little extra food,
It's like also too, you try to take into consideration when balancing people's food and calories out, right, into a surplus versus a maintenance. There's already so many outside variables you have to come into play with. Like trying to tote a line perfectly at maintenance is very difficult, where you get a little more leeway into the surplus zone. So,
and you guys know, when you start cranking up someone's food, their metabolism often upregulates.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just gets kind of out of control. Like, and if you
Mine's
just stayed
like
at 1 calorie like level the entire time, they'd be in a deficit before long. Especially if they're
and also,
right?
I mean, we go through periods of being in a surplus and being in a deficit at different times of every fucking day. So if you're trying to hover around a perfect maintenance, you are not. You are going into a deficit sometimes. You're going into a surplus sometimes, and it's not reliable for your goal.
And not to mention, like, every single food label that you read has a 25% margin of error on it. So how the hell do we know, right? Like,
another reason to just eat real food and weigh it.
Yeah.
Well, also, like giving an example, my past, a step, 10,000 steps at my job working on a construction site is different than 10,000 steps up and down a hallway. So there's like all these different variables you have to come into play. I'd rather overshoot a little bit and have to reel people back, rather than trying to waste time and try just to look good at every check-in. I want progress by the end of the goal date, Yeah.
And this kind of gets back to the whole like halo testing, going so far against the grain that you're kind of reinventing bodybuilding. And, it's like we all do it this way because it works. And we know that it works. Like, it's, you don't try to reinvent the wheel when it's been working a certain way for, the last 60 years, 70 years of bodybuilding. It's just ridiculous.
Something that drives me absolutely fucking batshit crazy is when they start pointing to a study or pointing to studies that, but you look at the study and it's like 6 weeks with a untrained grad student that they put with 11 of them that they put into the study, who started weight training in 8 maintenance calories and gained 0.5 pounds of muscle over a 6-week period of time. Like, what the fuck what conclusions can you draw from that?
And often they have them just training one muscle group and doing like extreme volume on muscle. I mean, it's usually leg extensions they'll have them do. And they'll just do like quad biopsies or an MRI or something, and they're doing like 30 sets of leg extensions a week. So I don't know how representative like a lot of those studies, like you said, are of like what we're actually doing, right? It's totally different.
I mean, none of the studies ever are representative because they're not training like us and they're not living like us.
Yeah, I can give you a cohort of 20,000 professional bodybuilders over the last 30 years who have all done it a certain way and it's worked really fucking well. That's my cohort. I don't know. I mean, I love science. I love reading studies, but I like a lot of, especially the nutrition stuff. Like, how the fuck do you even control for what they're eating? Like what do you? I mean, like, are you locking these people in a room?
You don't.
Metabolic ward study with like MRIs and biopsies and training over a long period of time is impossible to do. It's too expensive.
And the reason why you don't see subjects that are applicable to us is because I don't know if people realize this, and I keep saying this, all of these studies are done at universities on college kids.
Yeah.
There's almost no other place that they're doing these studies ever. I don't know if people realize that. So even when they say trained, these are like 20-something kids who are at least 6 months trained, and that could be anything. They just ask them.
Yeah.
It actually was a really interesting study that was done several years ago in Japan on middle-aged women looking at skin health and muscle building. And it was fascinating because they actually were able to prove that resistance training improved skin health by skin biopsies and also looking at them under the light that looks at kind of your skin quality. And it was just great because they actually did it on middle-aged women, had them do like a real workout routine for a amount of time. And then the balance cohort was the same amount of women just doing cardio. to see if it was just the increase in like blood flow to the skin that improved skin quality. That it wasn't enough. Like they saw some improvement, but the women who did the resistance training, and they actually did real resistance training in this study. They were untrained to begin, but they still showed more improvement in the quality of their skin. So studies exist with training, but they're so niche, and they're expensive, and it's really hard to do human trials anyway. But then especially trying to get people to stick to a diet and stick to a workout routine, even harder.
Yeah,
variables.
It seems
Yeah, I
to
don't
be
even
way
look into
more
it anymore.
good studies
Well,
like that in other countries than in the U.S. It seems like the bar to get peer reviewed and published in the U.S. has become very low.
It sort of is and sort of isn't. Like the way that science works, especially here, is like it's like a performance for other scientists. Like if you're not doing everything exactly how it's always been done and exactly the methods that have been proven, they don't care to hear it.
Yeah, frustrating. Amy, I'm sorry, I missed the part. What did they chalk it up to? Was it just resistance training in general, or better nutrient uptake, or what was the?
Yeah, they didn't have an exact causal as to why. They just proved that it did. So
It's probably like hormonal and also, vascular, like you said, probably both of those things.
I'd imagine it wouldn't be just one direct thing. It'd be just kind of like an offspring of, what you get out of resistance training in general, everything from a cardiovascular point of view.
Neovasculation.
Yeah, like literally makes you healthier. What do you know?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
It'd be awesome to do like a camp like they do for MMA. Like if you were that well funded where you could just control everything about their environment, their living space, their training space, their diet, their protocols, and you just go farm the best young talent you see at these local shows and put them in this environment where you can closely monitor and study the results. That would be ideal, right?
There are a few schools that focus on, bodybuilding physiology, the few who do case studies like that. But the issue why you're never going to get a large, highly powered study is because who actually lives like that and lives like us wants to turn over our whole protocol to be changed by some researcher, right?
Sure.
Well, that and people aren't buying $5,000 ringside tickets to a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, so there's no money in it. It's not funded. So you can't pay them. So it's like, what is the return I'm getting on turning over to my protocol to you for the next 4 months?
I think if it keeps going the way that it is, though, with bodybuilding getting bigger and bigger, I think we're going to see like a wave of new data potentially if there can be more money in the sport. That's what makes it so cool, is like the rate at which it's growing.
I think the best chance we have for that is if we get some sort of crowd-funded type of thing going, like the community actually funds the money to be able to do independent studies, because the government is never going to care.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about doing, is like figuring out these metabolites of different steroids with untargeted LCMS testing. Just get some gym primates and take their blood and test it up and see what's going on metabolite wise, with the EQ or anything.
Gym gorillas.
Yeah.
So Pal Stallion is commenting about this military TRT thing. Josh brought it up earlier. What do you know about that, Josh?
Mandatory testosterone testing for all males over 30. Optional TRT, of course. They're working on a women's plan, of course, a little more complicated with that system. But should be starting pretty soon. Peter Hegseth, they're calling it the high TRT military. I was like, well, that's fine with me. It's a military. And if you're under 30, you can get testing if you're concerned you might be low T. And that should be good for the coaching business. Very good for the coaching business. And great medical.
Oh, bad. Yeah, that's really bad. Gonzo, it's your mic.
Yeah.
Time for a new mic, dude.
All right.
Get the Shure.
I'll send you a link, bro.
Yeah.
Spend $300, get a Shure, and you'll be done for the rest of your life.
It's so ironic how the military is literally 10 to 15 years behind everything all the time. So it's not surprising to me that they're just now thinking about, TRT exists.
What they have to do is study whatever they think they're going to implement and then see how much they need to buy to cover the military for the next 50 to 100 years. And then if they store it, what happens to it? Like with aspirin becomes like some sort of...
And they're all on steroids anyways, right?
Military are probably the guys that are most hesitant to even do TRT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because
it's
of the
like second
testing.
to police officers. Like police officers are
Police
probably
officers drink that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with quite a few veterans, and a lot of them, it was pretty frustrating for some of the guys. Like they couldn't even get testing done through the VA. It was fucking crazy, man. Like guys would be like, "Hey, I want to get on some TRT. You know, where can I do this?" And the VA wouldn't even provide testing for these guys. It's fucking.
And
crazy,
when you're still active, you're restricted to military healthcare providers only. You literally can't even go off base to see a private person unless you want to pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those guys do a lot of cardio too. So like getting their TRT up to a good level, like they're all kind of overtrained. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't emphasize lifting whatsoever, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they probably shouldn't. I mean, if they want to be, good at what they do, you just want to have really good cardio. But their hormones are probably tanked all the time. Those guys are going on like rucks that are like 20, 30 miles.
Yeah, and they need resistance training to just balance out the imbalances that all of that activity is going to cause.
A little bit,
especially like the ruck training, shit like that. Like there needs to be some basic emphasis of it in there, and a lot of them just don't do it at all unless they want to on their own time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they probably don't get quality nutrition while they're there.
Not at all. It's cafeteria quality food.
I deal with this with a few clients of mine that are, in the service, and it's difficult just getting basic screening. Everything has to come out of their pocket. Being able to work with the VA is difficult for them. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and they can't take their shots like when they're out doing in the field. They have to like get long ester tests and take like 3 or 4 grams at a time. So it lasts for a month. It's just it's a mess.
My affectionate nickname for TRICARE is TRICARE less.
That's accurate. I mean, she's not wrong. They actually don't do like most of the advanced surgical procedures and put people out of work.
It's literally bottom of the barrel free insurance that you have available to you.
All right, we want to get some questions in.
We got a bazillion.
Yes, I have lots of stuff starred. Let's get back to the beginning. Let's see. Before I get that question, there is one from a member. This one's from Bading Molecular. When is the cholesterol/ApoB target app coming out?
Oh, it's on my website already. It's free. You can just use it. It's mostly just a harm reduction, like free resource that I wanted to put out there to to get people as healthy as possible. And you can literally go to my website, which is in my bio, and you can type in your age, your cumulative years on AAS, blasts, weeks per blast dose, cruise dose, and then you put in your hematocrit. Sorry,
I said you should add family history in there as well. That might be very helpful.
Yeah, it's got a little note at the bottom that like family history or a CT angiogram overrides everything. And you can put in all that data, it'll even calculate your LPA based on your dose for a correction factor to give you an ApoB target. And you can then print it out. It'll make you a PDF that you can give to your doctor with all the citations on it. So you don't have to have this this conversation with your doctor every time. At least you have some evidence to say like, my LDL cholesterol should be lower than the average person's because I'm on X amount of gear and this is the data that supports that. Typically, like when people are on AAS for a long period of time, you see anywhere from additional 3 to 13 years of plaque accumulation. So someone who's like 40 years old may have 53 years plaque accumulation. So you might be equivalent to a 53-year-old at 40. So this stuff really, hopefully, it gives you some leverage with your primary care doctors to, improve your lipids there. I think it's a really good resource.
I've been trying to preach this shit to dudes, and man, they get so upset about statins and all this stuff. It's just fucking crazy, man. Dudes are fucking crazy.
If they want to take a statin, they can flip that and just get a fibrate. And it's not a statin, guys, but it's about a similar effect.
And they just came out with oral PCSK9 inhibitors. So if you
that's even better.
Repatha, you can just take an oral PCSK9 inhibitor if you're really adverse to statins, which there's no reason to be adverse to statins, but some people get side effects. And now you have that option. They're going to be expensive, but you have that option as ezetimibe and an oral PCSK9 inhibitor too. So it's really good. You'll be able to talk to your doctor and communicate with him, and it has all the data on there, so it's pretty hard to argue with.
And then
I've aggressively treated my cholesterol for over a decade. probably 20 years, close to 20 years, to be honest with you, because I have a family history of dyslipidemia, and I have the genetics for it. So I keep my ApoB and my LDL below 60 at all times.
Yeah, I'm positive for ApoE4. And I also have a high LPA, so I keep mine like basically undetectable. My ApoB, you can't even detect it on the assay.
That's crazy.
It's 0.
Oh, you take the shots though?
Yeah, I take Repatha, I take pitavastatin, and I take ezetimibe. Yeah, that brings it all the way down.
All right. Airtight.
Yeah,
my ApoB was in the 40s the last time I got it checked.
Yeah,
my cardiologist seemed to think that was fine. I have no indications of plaque buildup from.
If you speak to any prominent lipidologist that knows what they're talking about, they will all tell you the same thing, that like having a lower ApoB isn't causal for any like negative outcomes. Like you'll hear it's causal for dementia or other stuff.
It's not true.
And that just it is just not true. So the lower the better for anyone that's listening. And this is like the biggest lever we can push to improve our longevity in this sport. Whenever you hear about somebody dying, it's always cardiovascular disease, like literally every single time. Like it's such an easy fix. You can we don't have to play this game of bodybuilders dropping dead all the time. Like we can fix this if people would just kind of get on board, use this calculator, talk to their doctors, and if their doctor is not willing to cooperate, just use the calculator yourself and figure out a range that's good for you, and take what you need to take. It's all very, very easy to get. So yeah, keep that in mind.
I just don't understand the reluctance. I get guys come to me on consult calls all the time that I'll have an ApoB of 140, 150, and they're taking Anadrol, and they're in tren, and they're not worried about that, but they're worried about taking rosuvastatin.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre to me.
Wait. Tell them the rosuvastatin's made in the bathtub, and maybe they'll take it, right?
This is Chinese rosuvastatin.
You got bathtub rosuvastatin, baby. Trust me, it's better than other stuff.
And maybe if we put it in like in an eyed vial, like the R word, right. Maybe people will take it then.
It's a new peptide that'll make you leaner and grow muscle. Yeah. Might be a myostatin inhibitor. Might be.
Yeah. And also, guys, remember that if your cell walls are filled with saturated fat, they become rigid and you become less insulin sensitive. So taking something like ezetimibe to reduce that rigidity will actually improve your GLUT4 translocation into the cell, and therefore make you more anabolic. So this is not just about saving our health, it's also about improving our performance in bodybuilding.
This is another thing that drives me nuts, Sean, is these dumbasses that are just pounding saturated fat. You can literally look at the molecule, and it's a very rigid molecule, and your cell wall becomes that, or cell membrane, becomes rigid, just like the lipid infiltrates the cell membrane, and then that transmembranal receptor can't pass through the cell membrane.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So eating less saturated fat will actually make you a better bodybuilder, almost certainly, to some degree.
And you get an omega-3 check on your cell membrains from
Quest has it. Yep, you can get an omega-3 check. Those are great too. So high fish oil. Eat a lot of salmon, and if you can't afford the fat, you can always just supplement the hell out of it too. It works well, and sticking with like flaxseed oil that has a really good 3-to-6 ratio to 9. Stuff like that is really good. Olive oil is not as optimal. I use flax oil in basically all my clients. So
yeah, I swapped from olive to flax. I do flax now. I have for several years. Plus, I think the flax tastes better.
It does. It's you can't cook with it, but it's you just drizzle it on top. Eat it. Yeah,
you got to be careful with it too. It goes rancid really easily.
Yeah,
flax oil can bring your blood pressure down a little bit too.
Yep.
Yeah, flax is amazing.
Yeah. So the lipid stuff we don't talk a lot about, but like with carbs, it's like a carb is a carb is a carb, but we don't understand like that fat has subcategories that affect your health in different ways, and it's not as simple as carbs or or even protein. You know, it's complicated. So it's a good thing to really look into for guys that don't know.
I recommend that book that Mike
This
has
is the
for
reference
everybody.
guide right here.
Know your fats.
Know your
Love it.
Know your fats. If you haven't, I don't think they print it anymore. You can get it on Amazon, but it was Dr. Mary Enig. It's I recommend it for everybody to read. It's the most comprehensive book you'll read on fats, and it's very well presented, easy to digest, no pun intended.
I would fall asleep reading stuff like this, but it does have a really great index at the back. So when I want to know about something, I'm able to use the book.
It is fantastic. All right, what's the next question?
Next question is from Chris Rule 6000. Can you guys discuss IGF-1 LR3 and IGF-1 DES? Hearing a lot of female competitors using DES to bring up glutes, shoulders, etc. I know nothing about these compounds.
It sounds like
I'm not a big
question.
Yeah, so IGF LR3 works and IGF DES works. I do believe that. I just think that the dose that commonly comes in those vials is not effective. Like I've taken 10 milligrams a day of IGF LR3 and it for sure has worked. But at that point, just run more growth hormone, because we're talking about like $30 a day. So how sustainable is that really? I took 10 milligrams and I was going hypo all the time, so it was for sure working. That's how something's
happening, right?
Yeah, something's happening. But the 500 microgram range, I don't think it's effective. I think you need way more. I haven't actually looked at the rodent studies to like cross-reference and calculate the human dose. But that's just my personal experience, and I've seen that with a few other people where you get them to the 5-10 range and it really starts to work. But is it something anybody can afford? I mean, at that point, it's just Increlex, right? You might as well just get the real stuff. When you're paying $60 a day, something like that. So
correct me if I'm wrong. They both interact with binding proteins differently, right? And LR3 just basically hits every tissue in the body, right? And,
yeah, it's more systemic. Yeah,
and DAS is more localized.
I think LR3 makes more sense, like just having the pharmacokinetics that last a little bit longer. Because anytime you want to, like we're talking about with halo testing, anytime you want to activate, protein synthesis, it requires that receptor to be kind of agonized for a longer period of time, because protein synthesis is a slow process. So anything that's like in and out quickly is probably not going to be very effective. So I would stick with like the longer stuff, or maybe frequent dosing of the DES, but I don't really know like how sustainable that is if you want to take a shot every hour.
No.
It's just a little much. So.
Yeah. Isn't there some concern with LR3 with it, maybe like with cancer, colon cancer, shit like that, because of it not how the interaction with binding proteins has been changed?
Yeah, and I think too, like if you can crank your IGF above like what you would like GH has a hard cap on it mostly, in terms of IGF production. But if you're taking exogenous IGF, I don't know how sustainable that is long term in terms of, but you can always get like a Prenuvo scan every once in a while. It's just expensive. But like, what we're talking about here is like 10 milligrams of IGF LR3 and then Prenuvo scans every year to make sure you're not growing any nodules in your thyroid or your kidneys or your colon or whatever it is. So it's an expensive proposition for sure.
Yeah. I've noticed it been more effective in a different approach of kind of maintaining muscle mass on the way down, prepping into a show. So like holding on to quad fullness and size. And again, I'm not a fan of DES just because of the timing. It's a little bit difficult. Who wants to do that? Being taking shots during their training and all that. But
is it better than insulin?
For my method?
Like comparatively, do you think insulin is about the same, or do you think, because it seems price-wise, it's pretty expensive to do.
I'd still prefer insulin for growth matter, to be in a growth phase for sure.
What do you think on a cut? IGF, you think does well for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that people don't go with the lower doses, not the 10 milligram range, but if we're using, half a milligram, 500 micrograms, let's say in each quad during quad days, and you want to hold those fullness to a point because you're on your way down, and maybe that's like my problem. My quads usually deflate a little easy, and that definitely has been noticeably helpful but still in short periods of time. It's not like prep starts and I start injecting the quads, it's, maybe the last 6 weeks, 4 weeks when it's really getting a little rough and you really want to preserve every little bit of pop you can. I find that to probably be for this the best use case in general. I'd rather grow and do there's many other ways cheaper to grow more efficiently than use IGF. I've come to learn. I've used Increlex. I've used all of it. It's just expensive.
Yeah.
Sean, I was going to ask you, I wonder if that's just the insulin-like effect, localized insulin-like effect that people are getting from it for the fullness. I've heard a lot of people say they use it for fullness and to maintain fullness and body parts on prep.
Yeah, I think it's the same receptors, but IGF has a higher affinity for like the IGF specific receptor, but they both bind similar ones. So you get some effect from insulin and you get some effect from IGF, but they're slightly different, but they're very related. So, kind of similar thing. You could probably get most of the effect just from running insulin, honestly. For cheaper too. So, and yeah, I mean, like, it all comes back to just running, you can run insulin and just run more growth hormone if you want, I think that's probably, and if you're maxed out on the GH and you're maxed out on the insulin, and maybe you need something even additional on top of that, okay, 5 milligrams of LR3 might make sense. But at that point, like I said, maybe just do Increlex if you can source it. So,
yeah.
Increlex would be safer, wouldn't it? Because of how it's bioidentical and how it interplays with binding proteins.
In theory, yeah, but we don't really have any data on.
Yeah, I mean, I would think on paper that Increlex would probably be safer than LI3.
Yeah. Also more consistent, like it's a pharmaceutical product. You know what you're getting. I've had LR3 that hasn't done anything even at high doses, and I've had LR3 that's worked well.
I've always just told people to take more growth hormone and use insulin, but
yeah. Dave made a suggestion to me earlier this year, and I was able to source a bunch of it like pretty inexpensively, and so I was playing with the doses, and I would either do 1 milligram. I was just getting these crazy pumps like in my quads or my delts. I would inject it on those 2 training days, and I mean, stupid pumps, like painful like pumps, and that to me that always equates to when you can feel something working, just whether I'm actually correct or not. But then I read like Milos had published a protocol or something on the internet somewhere that I had read where they were doing 50 micrograms or 100 micrograms, like just before training and just after training, and all this time throughout the day. And I didn't experience anything on those lower doses. So I think it's like Molecular said, if you do enough of it, it works, right?
Yeah. And that's kind of what it comes down to with a lot of these Chinese, IDs. They're kind of hit or miss a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about with the growth specifically, even if it registers at the right mass on the mass spectrometer and you see, it's 87 or 97% or something like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have like deletion sequences or the peptide is misformed in some way, because they can just optimize to test at the right mass. So the peptide has the right mass, but it doesn't necessarily bind to the receptor as well as it should, or some of them don't,
at all.
Or at all. Yeah. So, it's hit or miss. It's, sometimes it works, sometimes it, and I think that's why there's so much like conflicting information with this stuff, is because the doses really needs to be really high. And then you also have, compounded on top of that, like quality control issues, with the Chinese manufacturers. So.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, can we grab Larry's question? I know he was anxious to.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I just told him there's quite a few ahead of his, but I did have it flagged. So he asked quite a few. So let me get down to him. Here we go. All right. So Larry had a quad and patellar tendon tear. He also tore something else, but he wanted to get input from
tricep.
It was a tricep. Yeah. He's hopefully having surgery next week. He said his plan is currently training his right side. He's doing, where's the other one? Hopefully doing surgery next week. Sorry, Larry, it was in a bunch of, there we go. Here's the other one. Planning on CLO, GH, HRT, maybe Anavar and Nandrolone, training good body parts and using an MES. So
Larry had a mishap on a belt squat where the latch, I guess, broke.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And didn't didn't catch, and it all came piling down on him, and he tore like everything.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm sorry.
That happened to somebody. That happened to somebody recently in my gym. It was so fucking loud. Fortunately, he didn't get injured though.
Yeah, yeah. So, ugh.
That's like my final destination fear.
I would say, you're gonna have to wait on the surgery. From my surgeon, when I had my basically everything fixed in my shoulder, he was pretty down with the whole recovery protocol stuff. He actually recognized me from Vigorous Steve's podcast.
Right.
Made me laugh. He was like, "I know you."
I like Vigorous Steve's protocol. Did you use Steve's or did you use something else?
Pretty similar thing. I honestly, I just kept it basic, man. But what my surgeon was telling me is not to fire things up immediately post surgery, because you need, maybe you can talk about that, but the post surgery period, you don't want the increased collagen synthesis immediately post surgery because of scar tissue accumulation. I know, Larry, you're probably impatient and ready to get things back on track, but my surgeon told me 2 to 4 weeks post surgery before you start any of that stuff. Probably closer to 4 weeks.
Yeah, because it's going to enhance healing no matter what. So if you're enhancing healing in a frozen up scar tissue dominant position, that's what you're going to heal into.
Yeah, the inflammation has to come down first, and you can speed that up a little bit with like diclofenac gel and stuff like that. But you want to make sure the inflammation is gone before you start ramping up collagen synthesis, because you can turn into a mobility issue with the muscle and the tendon, where you've kind of set it in place where it's where the range of motion is decreased, and then you'll have issues later on and that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't run peptides. He asked no peptides during immobilization. I wouldn't.
And he will likely be immobilized for quite a period of time. I actually had a partner who tore his quadricep tendon, so I've been through this rehab with someone, and the period of time where you're in a straight brace is probably at least 6 weeks. The one piece of advice I did give Larry was get an ice circulator, because that is really, really key. You'll just save so much time and effort on needing to buy bags of ice. If you can get one of the circulators, you put it on and it just circulates the cold water through it. So it keeps you from doing like tissue damage by putting really like too cold of ice directly on the skin. It keeps it at a good temperature, and it really allows you to ice efficiently as much as your orthopedic surgeon wants you to. But I don't know which side it is. Do you know, Paul, if it's his left or his right?
I'm not sure.
No. It is a long recovery, but if you follow the instructions for rehab, like, you'll be fine. But yeah, I would not do peptides while you're immobilized. I would just let it do its thing.
Yeah, like just do eccentrics at long muscle lengths for a while, really lightweight, and then once you can actually start progressing to actual low range of motion exercises, that's kind of the time where it might be acceptable to add in some stuff for collagen synthesis.
Yeah, I would spend some money also once you get into the rehab phase and book some consults with Dr. Marv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To help with your rehab protocol, because you got to think probably the stuff your insurance is going to pay for. They're not used to working with athletes. I mean, even my therapist was like, "Hey, you might want to want to work with a sports physiologist. Like, we don't work with people like you here." And I'm like, okay. So I would spend some money, maybe book a couple sessions with Dr. Marv, or find a local sports physio once you start your recovery process, somebody that's going to help you with that. I think that's probably going to be more important than any peptide that you run. And then probably, 4 to 6 weeks before you start any protocols, I would say leave some TRT in place, or maybe a very low dose growth hormone. You don't want to turn into mashed potatoes while you're laid up. But
just my opinion too. Sometimes I'm not a fan of on fresh injuries, even when it's time to start adding in maybe some healing peptide with copper directly near some people's injuries. I see a lot of people get very irritated from it, and they're just creating more of a headache and an issue for them for what the juice you're getting out of it's not worth the squeeze sometimes. Though I'm a fan of copper just, it's a little rough on people. And if you're pinning it right where you're injured, you're just irritating the area in my mind.
Creating more inflammation when you want to bring the inflammation down, basically.
Can you imagine having an infection from that shit?
I was just going to say, I would avoid any injection near a surgical site for a long time.
Oh man, just a bad idea. Yeah.
Really, something like this that deals with the bone. I mean, I would stay far away from injection.
I've had with many people just as good of results with like the healing peptides just systemically rather than continuing to put them in a target zone.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a point too. This is another thing too that I talk about with my doctor, and Larry says he's staying on his contest prep diet. I don't do that.
Absolutely not.
A little surplus.
No, you don't want to be in a deficit while you're recovering. It's the exact opposite of what you're going to impair your.
You need a protein surplus and a carb surplus and maybe a fat surplus.
Well, and making sure that your phytonutrients are high. You've got lots of vitamin C going on. I mean, all the things that are going to help with inflammation. Like this is the last place you want to be in a calorie deficit is around surgery.
Yeah, don't do that, man.
Your tissue needs nutrients to heal.
Yeah, I know you don't want to be fat, but I know that feeling, but just embrace it.
If you want to heal, eat food.
How much work your body is doing to heal. Like it's a lot of effort. It's, I mean, you'll feel your metabolism working hard to heal this injury. Like after surgery, like you're not going to get fat.
Yeah.
And if you do, you can fix it with 4 weeks of Retta after the thing's all over.
It's easy to lose. I mean, you can lose 8 pounds of fat in 4 weeks. No problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Allowing your body the correct nutrients to heal is going to make your comeback faster. Like being in a calorie deficit, having impaired tissue healing is only going to extend your recovery period, which is going to extend the time that you think you might be fat. So don't do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next one.
Okay. Back up to the top here. From Kenneth Allen, Mast and Primo are making me shed my hair. What's the best next compound to add? I do very modest doses at 200 milligrams test Mast per week.
DHT and Anthate.
Are you on that bandwagon too, Josh?
No, I'm trolling this guy really hard. He does have nice hair. When you look at the picture.
Yeah.
I mean, Nandrolone is somewhat hair safe. I don't know. Is there any such thing as a hair safe?
Not from androgens.
What's the protocol? Mesotherapy on your scalp, erase all of your DHT from your serum, and then take injectable DHT or Proviron.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chris Primo's protocol. He fixed hair loss.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you try to take Nandrolone, and a lot of the time people will already be on a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor while they're on Nandrolone, and not realize that you know, that can make it worse. That changes Nandrolone a lot. So you know, if you're not on a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, Nandrolone's a good choice. But I think Chris's protocol, you know, just block 5-AR as much as possible, and maybe reduce the dose of the DHT drugs, and you know, that's really all you can do. But nothing's really hair safe. I don't know. Just get a hair transplant. Just
slightly off topic. You ever seen anyone lose hair aggressively from a very aggressive deficit?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
like
estrogen too.
Estrogen,
yeah. Be mindful of that as well.
A lot of female competitors will lose hair toward the end of prep because of just the calorie deficit gets so low.
Yeah. Don't ask me.
I was gonna say, we're not the hair panel.
Too, yeah. Most of us are bald.
Even Tanya's halfway there,
right? I just got to a point where I said, "Fuck it." I'm just, I'm gonna, bald is written in my genetics. I'm just going to embrace it and be jacked.
Yeah.
Find yourself a girl, you know, and you know, before you lose your hair, and then you'll be good.
I find that most women, if you have a good body, don't care about the hair.
Oh, I shaved my locks because I did like this. Oh, go ahead, Amy.
Well, you got to trap them while you still have hair, and then you lose all of it, and then it's like, well, you know, you love me now, so we're good. You know?
Works like a charm. Yeah. Well, you know, does it ever cross anyone's mind though, too? Like when you're running low doses, let's say you're running 300 milligrams of something, you got 200 test and 100 of a DHT compound. I mean, why not just, if you're getting hair loss, get rid of the DHT compound, just go up a little bit on the testosterone. It's not going to solve the problem, but it might be slowing it down if you feel DHTs are, a little bit more aggressive to your scenario. I mean, at that point, you just use a little more test. What's the sprinkle of the DHT going to do?
Yeah, I mean, you can just take an AI test. Yeah, block 5-alpha reductase, and you'll be fine. That'll work too.
As long as you don't mind not having boners.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't that equal stuff work out for DHT and estrogen? Have you tried?
Yeah, I mean, you can sequester DHT with equal too, but it gets very, very autistic very quickly.
I mean, this is the right show for that.
Yeah, you can take topical equal and or oral equal and sequester DHT, and then take a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor on top of it, and then at that point, if you have trouble getting boners, you can just replace the DHT with DHT enanthate, and then you have systemic DHT, but you don't have it, where you don't want it, which is in the the hair follicles and the skin, and that way you can kind of get the best of both worlds. That's Chris's, and all credit to Chris there. But yeah,
that's a slick idea.
Yeah.
Why has nobody thought of this before?
He patented it because it was such a good idea. So yes, it's a great
we had
idea.
to delay an episode release because he had to wait for the patent to come through. We're like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's so blatantly obvious.
Yeah, because it's really the 5-alpha reductase, the local conversion is what causes the issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's
hair
just
loss.
why has nobody thought of that? That's a simple solution.
Yeah, and also you get
that's probably why.
Yeah, you also get all the estrogen beta metabolites from DHT that make you feel better, and then you have the vasodilation downstream from DHT that improves things. So you get all the benefits of DHT without having sort of the negative things you don't want.
That's brilliant.
Did we talk Paul into hair again?
I think there's no hope for my hair.
Well, above and beyond the hair, like just blocking 5-alpha reductase, I think is generally a good idea just from a prostate perspective. Because I mean, a lot of guys on this panel will probably tell you, like, if you've been running, a lot of testosterone for a long period of time, like your prostate is going to get larger at some point, and you're just going to be peeing all night, or you're going to not be able to pee because it's actually so big. So like,
dutasteride, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's a good idea if you plan on doing this stuff for a long period of time to maybe not like, take a huge dose of dutasteride, but maybe just, wipe out, 60-70% of the conversion with like 0.5 milligram if you're on like 600-700 milligrams plus of testosterone, just to kind of, ameliorate that problem from being an issue long term. Because a lot of guys are on like mirabegron now. Like a lot of my clients that have been on testosterone for a long period of time, they have to be on mirabegron, to expand their bladder size so their sleep isn't impacted because they're peeing 4 or 5 times a night, and that will really screw up your recovery, is peeing all the time, especially, when you're on anabolics and it's hard to get back to sleep. Like once you've woken up and kind of moved around.
I just went in and had radio frequency therapy done on my prostate. I'm all good. Had that fucker microwaved and shrunk.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah. So
terping it.
Yeah.
The irony there was I had all those issues when I wasn't even on anything. It was
really, yeah.
Your body was hungry for steroids. Like, what's going on?
Your prostate's just soaking up all your androgens. Yeah, that's what it likes to do.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got up next?
Next one from Nanny Latino 1. Thoughts on pro hormones? Do they
Trend
work?
exists.
Next question.
Use real hormones.
There you go.
No.
Oh man, I missed 2014, dude. This brought me back.
Have you seen that place, man? I don't even want to give them any credibility, but they name all their stuff like real steroids, but
I know
steroids.
what you're talking about. Yeah, they buy all the stuff from the SEOs to try to.
Dude, please tell me you're smarter than that.
That's the first stupid test for steroids.
No, they don't work. They're not even pro hormones.
What's funny is though, eventually they'll have oral testosterone. They have oral testosterone. They'll have oral anavar. So they could actually just sell you real steroids as a joke, just to really screw it.
Some of them work, Paul, but the question is,
have you seen them? They're not even.
We're talking about the fake site. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The fake ones. Yeah.
Like testosterone pills, but they're actually just.
Yeah, I mean, some of them will work. They'll give you some muscle growth, but like the safety of those things, especially like some of those sketchy like we have no idea what they do. There's
guys
even
love
less
Epistane.
data on them.
I've never seen people get shut down faster than those synthetic pro hormones.
Yeah, I mean, I have a story from back in the day. Like we had, when I was in high school, we had Superdrol, and the entire weightlifting class started taking Superdrol, and we all got jaundice.
Here's the here's their one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is a pro hormone because they have their Decadurable, is what they call it, patent.
Oh no.
It's 19 nor andros 4EN3BOL 17-1 decanate, whatever the fuck that is.
Okay.
Is it an injectable?
No, it's a pill.
No, it's a thing.
A pill
it's
with
a
an
joke.
ester on it? Decanate ester? At the
Yeah,
end?
it sounds like bullshit to me.
You know, it's a fake. It's a fake site. It's like it really is the first stupid. You haven't seen these.
Yeah, why would you put an ester? You can't put an ester on a pill. It gets cleaved
That's
off
the
in the
joke,
liver.
yes.
Doesn't work.
No, it's a pill.
It's the first stupid test.
No. Yeah, they don't work. Those don't work.
No.
Yeah, I remember the old days, the Epistane, the 4-chloro, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, the guys still like Epistane.
It'll work. It'll mess you up though.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna send this.
I
in the
take only the
podcast 'cause
safest
I don't
of
want to
trends.
put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
But if you want to see it, you can look in the
Only-
private chat. There's a link.
Oh, now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
these
are
things,
all
right?
garbage. Those are
Oh yeah.
garbage.
I mean, listen, it's a good business. It's bogus.
Yeah, don't bother. You know, and a lot of them are pretty pricey too. I mean, a lot of them are pretty pricey.
Well, there are some good pro hormones to take, but you wouldn't be taking them for anabolic purposes. You'd be taking them for mental health purposes or anti-anabolic purposes. In terms of effects, not in terms of decreasing your anabolic load.
Test is best.
All right, what do we got up next?
Next one is from Let Me Fix That Doc. He's on 140 milligrams of test 7 days to fill up for a beach week. I'm done cutting and need to pump up fast. Besides increasing carbs a lot, do you think adding Oral Primo will help? It's all I have on hand.
Oral Primo?
No
I think salt would help better.
carbs.
Do they still make Oral Primo?
Yes.
Yeah, you can get it. Primable and acetate.
Acetate.
Bad for your CRP.
Just fill up on some carbohydrates, man. That's what's gonna.
Eat some
Yeah.
carbs.
Josh said, some carbs, some salt, and get some hydration in. Get some good pump workouts.
Maximum creatine, right over 30 grams of creatine, dog. Let's go.
Well,
You will
glycerol.
either get full or get diarrhea. One of the two.
Yeah, so you're either going to be cut or full. It's a win-win.
I take about 30 grams of creatine a day.
Holy
I bet you
shit.
do.
I would shit my pants if I took that much creatine.
I mean, I take it split throughout the day.
Creatine does not like me.
Yeah, it bothers some people for sure.
We got a paid question.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we do.
Well,
It
thank
is from George Alfred, 200. Currently ending my cut and switching out Mast for Primo. I will keep test at 350. How do I transition from 1.5 milligrams anastrol a week to 350 milligrams of Primo?
I don't know that there is a one-to-one way to do that.
You just got to test it.
Yeah.
Test your E2.
That's probably a little too high on the Primo with the test dose. I don't know. You're probably going to end up with your estrogen smashed, I would think.
Yeah.
I'd
Why not
probably
just
run
do
something.
the Natrazole?
I mean, I'd probably get down to the lowest amount of anastrozole you can, and then just slowly insert the Primobolan over time.
Yeah, I'd probably run the Primo at like 200 or something with that 350 test.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would drop the anastrozole for a few days and then bring in the Primo after a few days.
It's so funny. So everyone's a little different too.
Yeah.
To what kind of aromatase inhibition effect they get from Primo versus EQ. It's everyone's so different. It's really hard to give you a fair answer.
Like aromasin is a suicide inhibitor, so you have to titrate off of it slower, and then because you risk crashing your estradiol. But with anastrozole is not a suicide inhibitor, so you can switch it pretty quick back and forth. But there's less of a concern with crashing. So.
Keep Jeff 50.
Well, that's not bad if you're on that. If you're on 400 tests or 350 tests.
Yeah, I think what Paul said though is like that's probably a little too much primo. I mean, for most people.
For most people, yeah. Wonder about this guy.
All right. Larry had a follow-up question about sleep. He has been having trouble sleeping, wants to know the best non-prescription solutions. Insomnia is something he's never had to deal with until now. Larry, once they put you on those opioids, you're going to be sleeping like crazy.
Man, it's Dayvigo.
That's a prescription, unfortunately. But yeah, it's Dayvigo for sure.
Yeah, it's Dayvigo. There's that's like number one in my trend book. Like, there's nothing. It's not even close.
Yeah.
But I mean, beyond that, it's just going to be really nailing down your sleep hygiene and making that sleep routine as good as possible.
I'm telling you, I didn't even use the opioids post-surgery. I went with the CBN, THC, and CBD gummies. I didn't take any opioids.
Yeah, opioids do slow down your recovery, but it's just really how much pain can you tolerate?
Slow down your poop too.
Well,
your digestion gets messed up, and then you also risk becoming an addict if you have some genetic problems. It's just not really worth it.
Yeah. If you get Muvantic, you're basically turning off the opioid effect to the intestine.
They gave me fentanyl post-surgery. They do
what?
Yep. Oh, whoa. What was that?
Sorry. West dropped something. I'm sorry.
Felt like I was getting ejected into outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they gave me a dose of fentanyl when I left the hospital.
You got to leave the hospital with it? Wow.
I think a lot of people are scared of prescription sleep drugs. So like, because prescription sleep drugs historically have such a bad rap for causing, addiction and a bunch of other problems and kind of not working after a while. But Lemborexant, Dayvigo, that drug is very well tolerated, and it doesn't have any, addiction issues. It doesn't lose its efficacy over time. It continues to work. So like, if you're having sleep issues, I always recommend Lemborexant, full stop.
I know it sounds very hippy dippy of an answer, but before going to bed, when I'm having a tough time, a lot of times just simply getting my breathing in line. I know it sounds so simple, but just getting my breathing, like practicing a little bit of box breathing and really just bringing everything I can down from my heart rate to mentally feeling a little bit more relaxed. It just puts me in a better zone to kind of nod off to sleep. But yeah, insomnia sucks, man. I'm going through a little bit of the same crap myself, and it's tough. I mean, I use a little bit of like theanine, KSM, anything to kind of help alleviate the CNS a little bit, just to get me to calm down. But also, really, again, breathing. It's funny. It sounds so simple, but it does help with a lot of people. Just getting
and also high dose melatonin, guys, too, is very underrated.
Yeah.
Most people only take like 5 or 10 milligrams and it doesn't really work. But if you take 50, 100, you can have a great improvement in sleep, especially with the higher doses. And it's got an antioxidant effect too, which is kind of nice.
And a pro GH release effect. Nice to take 80 milligrams. Not only
tried 40 milligrams. I was so lethargic the next day.
Yeah. So for some people, it builds up in the tissue, and then it does this time release thing, because the pharmacokinetics of any drug, when you take more than you're supposed to, get kind of wacky, especially with tissue buildup. So that's probably what happened with you, is that it kind of just built up in your tissue, and then over the next day, it like time releases while you're awake.
You say mine's sublingual. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah.
With it not being the hangover. But yeah, if you take too much, you will have a little bit of a hangover, but you can take a caffeine pill, dog.
Yeah.
But Lemborexant, I haven't had any kind of hangover, but it is, you're not going to drive for 8 hours.
Yeah.
He is asking for something over the counter, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention Gorilla Mind Dream. Good for about 4 nights, and then 5th night it doesn't work. Me and Vigorous Steve have both had the same experience. Yeah.
You know what works every night?
Lemborexant. Anyway, code MHP at checkout.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got up next?
Right. Next one. So we got that one. Hey, Big Paul, sometimes you talk about bodybuilding expenses, food, PEDs, gym, etc. What about clothes? I'm an attorney and have to dress nice. My 85-pound weight loss has cost me a fortune in clothes.
Well, my entire wardrobe comes from Costco, so I don't know if I'm the one to talk about clothes budget.
No, I would suggest getting them tailored.
I'm telling you, if you need to get a suit, the guys at the Buffery, they were just at Masters Nationals. I got a couple suits from them. They have their flex suits that are fucking awesome for bodybuilders, and they're made for you to have a V taper and small waist and big legs. Buffery, look those guys up.
Yeah, good hack is to just fly to Thailand and have like 10 suits, 20 suits made at like a quarter of the price, and then have them mailed them to you, and you're good to go for a while. That's much cheaper than having it done over here if you need a lot of clothes tailored.
Buffery flex uniforms, and they aren't crazy expensive. Their suits, I think I spent about, for pants and sport coat, it was about, I don't know, $800, which is
the regular suit prices then.
Yeah, which isn't bad for a suit.
That's big and tall.
There's also a guy in Vegas who's kind of semi-famous for making a custom tailored suit for under $1,000.
And for anybody in the UK, there's a similar company that makes like formal clothes tailored to bodybuilders. They're called Diamond Theory.
Cool. I'm gonna put their.
I've had to go through about 5 layers of clothes. I'm now down to small pants and medium shirts. I buy all scrub stuff, and everything's polyester.
I put I try to give these guys a shout out every time because I really like the suits they made for me. I've got a couple.
I wrote the Buffery down. That sounds awesome.
Buffery.us. They also are now making some casual wear stuff.
Yeah, what they had at in Pittsburgh looked pretty cool. Some of the casual stuff they're making.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, what do we got next?
From Peyton, what's the sweet spot for a cycle of 8 to 12? Of it, 8 to 12.
Weeks? I think he's talking about weeks.
I think he means weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not long enough.
That's
16 to 20 is what I run.
It takes 9 months to make a baby, so we go from there.
A baby is a lot of protein. How much protein is in a baby? Got to be at least a few thousand grams.
At least 10 pounds. So yeah. No, human meat does not have much of a nutritional value. Don't eat human meat.
How do you know that, Josh?
Do you want to know? Come to my house for a minute.
Yeah, too short. I don't know where people used to run the short cycles, and then that notion's been kind of coming back again. Like we talked about it the other week, Sean, like with satellite cell proliferation, and it's not even long enough to really do anything.
Yeah, and that's why we work up our dosages and don't just start at the peak dosages, because it takes about that many weeks, especially in men. Women respond a little bit quicker to androgens, but for men, I mean, it takes about that many weeks to even build up the machinery and the processes that are useful to what steroids do. So if you're only doing 8 or 10 weeks, you're just getting to that point.
And when you add in like a long ester, like it's not going to saturate for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
to a high degree. So like that's when it starts. And so if you're cutting it off after 4 weeks after that, you haven't had any time to build any muscle. Like protein synthesis is a slow process. Like Josh said, making a baby takes 9 months, because protein synthesis takes a long time, and that's the quickest it gets, right? Is that.
Yeah. But that is enough time to build up some side effects. So you're just getting some negative effects for free and really none of the benefits.
Well, often people see the nitrogen retention and all that kind of stuff, and they think that they're building muscle because they look better, but that isn't the muscle growth. That's just the nitrogen retention. But the protein expression takes a very, very long period of time. That's bodybuilding is literally about how much drugs can you take for the longest period of time. That's literally the game. Like, and within a calorie surplus and training properly and all that kind of stuff. So it's not about, these short bursts of trying to do things. You really want to extend it out as long as you can and stay as healthy as possible so you can continue to do it.
Well said.
And this is why these short oral only cycles are doubly stupid. You're getting all the side effects and none of the positives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and we talk about like the longer esters are typically better because you have, more consistent agonism at the AR, just driving protein synthesis. You want it to stick around for as long as possible. It's not something that happens quickly. It's a very slow process. So
anything good takes time.
Yep.
Takes time.
That's what she said.
You got to incubate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get one or two more in. I got to roll.
Okay. Yep. Cyanic asked this twice, so I'll get this one in. He was able to source Selexerant, so I'm going to test it out rather than Lumbexerant for this sleep issue. Has anyone had experience or knowledge?
It's not quite as good as Lemborexant on the pharmacokinetics, but it'll work. Probably just not as good, but yeah, it'll do the job. You might be a little more groggy in the morning, but other than that, it's fine.
And then there's Dorito-Rexant.
Yes, Dorito-Rexant, which is probably even better, but it's harder to get.
Is that actually what it's called?
Yeah, it's not spelled like Dorito, but it's
like Dorito-Rexant or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's Dorito-Rexant now.
These are Cool Ranch.
It's Dorito-Rexant now. Yeah.
It better be Cool Ranch.
Get a bag of Doritos like before bed so you sleep a little better from the.
I mean, that will work too.
Fuck yeah!
If you do the THC gummies and a bag of Doritos, you'll sleep like
right,
a baby.
It's hard not to pass out.
You hear that, Larry?
And you'll be in a,
non-prescription.
And you'll be in a caloric surplus to help your recovery.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I had Doritos.
Oh, I
sounds
can.
good.
It was about 7 months ago.
So good.
I got to have them with cream cheese poppers from Publix. Yeah, I haven't been in a positive non-deficit for a long time.
A nice way to get your Dorito fix is to like crumble some into a bowl of otherwise normal food. It's really, really good. It's like a taco salad, but with Dorito
they're great
flavor.
on sandwiches.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that was one of the last times I had it. Yeah, on a salad with Hamburg and a little bit of Doritos. That's good.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Catalina dressing. Yeah.
All right, we got time for one more. Let's roll.
Okay, do we want a drug question or a non-drug question?
Dealer's choice.
Oh,
Whichever one's not dumb.
Whichever one is not done.
I want the dumb question.
What can I do in 4 weeks?
Don't take Clen at night. We'll answer that one really quickly. Death Defeater. If you're taking Clen with dinner, you're not going to sleep. So don't do that. Just take it all.
No to both.
That was quick. From Aaron Temple. What do you know now that you wish you knew when you were just starting out in bodybuilding?
That recomposition isn't a thing.
What is? Start like me.
But not for what we do.
Not for what y'all do, no.
I can think of a couple things, but I think like the major thing that I fucked up on is that diet is the most important aspect of this. Not
a bad diet.
Not learning how to eat properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me was don't get too fat.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people mess up the most when they first start is that they get fatter than they should and then they screw themselves up, because they have to cut for a long period of time. So I think that's the biggest mistake I see people making. And the mistake that I made when I started out is I was pounding, McDonald's and stuff when I was, my early 20s and thinking that was going to put on muscle growth. And it worked. I put on muscle, but I also had to cut, basically 6 months out of the year. And
that's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's not fun.
Yeah. I was
Another one for me. Go ahead.
I was going to just say simple is better, but to be more specific, I wish I did learn a little bit more. If I truly understood insulin sensitivity and how to take advantage of that, if I was going to be very specific with an answer, understanding the benefits of being not insulin resistant, the people that try to grow when they're already, like Paul says, 15% or more body fat, it's just, you're going to turn your wheels. You're just making a mess for yourself. So insulin sensitivity and then simplicity is really key when it comes to PED protocols. You should all start at a basic level and try to learn at a basic level. You want to be Ronnie Coleman. That doesn't mean you go in and do 800-pound squats on the first workout. You build yourself up. Same thing applies to just about everything. Even
I was
diet
just going to say that
approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a quick
you have
one.
to really understand things at a small level and master these foundational pieces, and then everything else becomes much more clear to you, for sure.
Yeah, really common misunderstanding is that advanced protocols are superior protocols. No, they are not. They are for advanced people who have progressed to that point. You do not need the advanced protocol in the beginning. You cannot make use of it in the beginning, as a matter of fact.
Because you can't pinpoint what's working. You don't have an understanding at the simple level of what one thing does at a time, or what one macro does to me at a time. Like trying to teach my clients, like understanding how I look on a certain macro spread is just as good as sometimes understanding like the calorie amount in general. Like just kind of basic foundational pieces is huge.
Absolutely.
All right, mine's pretty simple. You know how you do dumbbell bench presses and you put them on your thighs? I thought you had to have really strong biceps. So I basically was doing 90 to 110 pound hammer curls instead of putting them on my thighs and sitting down. If I had learned that, I'd have saved myself about 6 months of getting into chest.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Lessons they learned?
Train the muscle,
free
don't
weights.
move weight.
Yeah,
What?
and related to that, free weights and barbells are not morally superior to machines. Utilize both where they make sense.
Yeah.
I held myself back for a lot of years, being really, really stubborn about that and only using free weights and barbells because that's what was cool at the time.
I love that morally superior phrasing. That's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's that group on social media, man. Like I tell people that I haven't. They think if you're not an SBD lifter that there's no way you could ever get big. And literally,
I mean, you
nobody,
can compare my physique to when I was training like that to how I am training now, and I didn't look like I lifted.
Literally nobody in professional bodybuilding is an SBD lifter, not at the high level. They don't do barbell benches, squats, or deadlifts anymore. Maybe some deadlifts, but I don't see
The amount of volume that we need and the amount of stimulus is too much to get it through those avenues.
Yep.
Yeah. If I can add one quick one too, and I really actually, now that I think about the question, just in general, if I had known how important it would be to preserve my health in many different ways at a younger age over time, I would have been far better off. And I mean everything from what we do on the inside of our body, but also just like there's a difference between being in pain from injury and then being injured from training. Like injuring yourself, like when Tanya and I talk a lot about this on Coach's Corner, is like mechanics of training and like putting yourself in an advantage position, not in a position to hurt yourself. Like if I could have squatted more properly when I was younger, my back wouldn't be in a position where I'm 36 and I feel like a 66-year-old, like my father, who has
But you got great
three
glutes.
fusions in his back, and it's just
Yeah.
you
a
can't
lot
do this.
of a lot of older guys in particular come to me for training help, and the pattern is always they hear this for a long time and they ignore it until they can't ignore it anymore, and then they say, oh, I'm old now, I have to train smarter. You had to train smarter 20 years ago, you just ignored it.
I stubbornly
Yeah,
made that mistake.
Same thing goes with health and PEDs. Is like you only have so much health in you, and if you damage yourself, when you're younger, and by the time you get to 40 years old, you already have like a bunch of plaque buildup and an enlarged heart, and your kidneys aren't doing so well. You really don't have a lot of runway to like grow because you can't use higher doses. You have to be really careful, and it turns into a mess. So not harming yourself with the training, not harming yourself with the PEDs, especially when you're younger, improves your longevity in the sport. And like I was talking about, this is really a game of who can run the most gear for the longest period of time. And if you interfere with that by doing things that are not healthy, you're going to have less of a runway to do that, and you're going to grow less. So it's directly related to being able to grow.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, if you're trying to do something with your body, it will do it better if it's healthier.
Yeah, there's the mentality with a lot of young guys that they want to run high doses of the most toxic shit that they can run to shortcut the process somehow. And
they just think it's going to happen faster if they hit it harder.
Yeah.
It's not how the body works.
Sean, this is a longevity game.
Yeah. And it does apply to the natural athletes too, just in the training sense. Like all of it, every bit of what I said, being wiser with your body at a young age, preserving your health, the structural integrity of your body is extremely important, natural or not, you know.
Oh, I think about it all the time, man. Like with my shoulder, like all those, that's years of stubbornly doing behind the neck military presses with barbells. And I was strong, man. I could behind the neck press 315 at one point.
Yeah.
I
can believe it. Yeah.
Fucked my shoulders up doing that shit, man.
Yeah.
Wrecked my shoulders. And I remember saying, like my shoulders are fine. It's not.
Well, do you do any like overhead presses now, or is that kind of out of your program?
I have pretty much eliminated over the head presses from my routine at all.
Yeah. I used to overhead press 150 dumbbells for 15 reps. I have videos of it. Great form, but it just
put those up. That sounds awesome.
Beating the shit. Yeah, it beat the.
Are you doing them like one at a time, like a freaking soldier, or are you doing them both?
Both, yeah.
I mean, either way is cool.
I might hit the Atlantis machine and just do some, controlled, lighter front presses once in a while. But I like you don't even really need to do them.
Yeah. Well, your point, no, probably not.
I mean, you're getting plenty of front delt work doing your standard chest presses anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most people.
Yeah.
Do.
Paul, have you tried
have
you tried landmine presses? Those can be really good for people with shoulder issues because it takes off a lot of load at the bottom.
No, I haven't. I have really my front delts are overdeveloped anyway, and I find that to be the case with most people that did a lot of bench presses when they were younger, which I was a fucking bench press. I love bench press, man. I'm like every boy from the 90s, man, who just bench press 3 days a week and just.
I love benching too, to be honest. That's the only part of SBD that I do miss is benching. On my first week after the last show, before I really had a new program in place, I just felt like benching one day, and I went in and benched my max like from years and years ago for reps. It was great.
So what's your max now, bro?
Strong at it.
I don't know. I didn't max it.
Well, I say max for a bodybuilder, I'm thinking like 10 reps. What's your 10 rep max? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think my all-time best, I got 405 on inclines for 8 one time.
That's freaking
nice.
Sweet. Yeah,
that was yeah. And then I remember, like, I think I partially tore my pec inclining 365.
That worked out so good for you
6 or 7 years ago.
Worked out so well. It looks beautiful.
I just like knowing I can casually bench significantly more than my body weight for reps for no reason. I have not benched in over 7 years.
I haven't done a barbell bench in years.
Same.
So we need to have Larry Wills on the show, and then we can all just do barbell bench presses and tear our pecs together
until we tear or something. Yeah. Musical chairs.
All right, guys. I think that's all I got for this one. I got a bunch of check-ins I got to do before obligations this evening. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching.
Good to see the crew.
Thanks for watching another episode. We will see you fools next weekend.